In 1932, Australia went to war. Not against another country, not against rebels, against emus. 20,000 of them. And somehow, the military lost. This sounds like a joke, but it's completely real. After World War I, the Australian government promised land to war veterans if they'd become farmers in Western Australia. Thousands of soldiers took the deal, settled down, and started growing wheat. But there was a problem they didn't anticipate. Every year, about 20,000 emus would migrate inland after breeding season. These massive birds, standing 6 feet tall and weighing over 100 pounds, would stampede through farmland like a feathered tsunami. They'd destroy crops, break fences, and drink from water supplies meant for livestock. By 1932, the farmers were desperate. Crops were failing. The Great Depression was crushing them. And these emus, they were making everything worse. So the farmers did what any reasonable person would do. They asked the military to kill the birds. The Australian government actually said yes. In November 1932, the military deployed to Western Australia. They sent soldiers armed with 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. The mission? Kill as many emus as possible. The man in charge was Major G.P.W. Meredith. He was a World War I veteran who'd faced actual combat. How hard could a bunch of birds be? Very hard, apparently. The first attack was a disaster. The soldiers spotted a group of about 50 emus and opened fire. The emus scattered immediately, running in different directions at speeds up to 30 miles per hour. The soldiers barely hit anything. They tried a different strategy. They waited for the emus to gather near a dam. This time, they'd ambush them when the birds were drinking. The ambush failed. The emus split into small groups the moment shooting started. They zigzagged, making them nearly impossible to hit. One soldier said the emus had developed guerrilla warfare, tactics. Yes, the birds had tactics. Over the next few days, the military burned through thousands of rounds. They'd set up positions, wait for the emus, open fire, and the birds would scatter before taking significant casualties. The soldiers reported that it took somewhere between 10 to 15 bullets to kill a single emu, if they could hit one at all. Meanwhile, the emus just kept coming. More and more birds flooded the region. After about a week, the military had fired nearly 2,500 rounds and killed maybe 50 emus. Local newspapers started mocking the operation. One article said the emus were winning the war. Another suggested the birds should be awarded medals for outsmarting the military. The government got embarrassed and pulled the soldiers out, but the farmers were still desperate. So a few weeks later, the military tried again. This second attempt went slightly better. Over the course of a month, they killed around 1,000 emus, but thousands more were still destroying crops. The emus had learned to avoid the soldiers. They'd post lookouts, actual emu sentries, who'd warn the flock when humans approached. The military finally gave up in December. They'd fired over 9,000 rounds, killed maybe 1,000 birds, and spent a fortune doing it. All while 20,000 emus continued terrorizing farmland. Major Meredith later said, and this is a real quote, "If we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world." The Australian military had officially lost a war to emus. So what actually stopped the emus? The government eventually gave farmers free ammunition and encouraged them to hunt the birds themselves. Over the next few years, farmers managed to control the population, not through military operations, but through individual hunting and better fencing. But the damage to Australia's reputation was done. International newspapers picked up the story. It became a running joke. The country that fought in World War I, that had elite soldiers and real military experience, had been defeated by flightless birds. To this day, the Great Emu War is one of the most bizarre military operations in modern history. No human soldiers died. No territory was lost. But the emus? They won decisively. And technically, there was never a peace treaty, which means by some interpretations, Australia and the emus are still at war. So, the next time someone tells you history is boring, remind them that an entire military once lost to birds with legs. If you want more bizarre history that actually happened, subscribe for a new story every week. Trust me, history only gets weirder from here.